All right, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the battle for the best credit card trifecta or best credit card setup on the market right now between the four biggest issuers of Chase, American Express, Capital One, and Citi. Now, I've made separate videos going over all the features, benefits, and details of each one of these credit card setups, but in this video here, I'm going to be putting these issuers against each other head to head in 5 different categories that I'll put on the screen right now. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to rank these trifectas and setups from 1 to 4 points, with 4 being what I think is the best in each category. And then at the end, we're going to count up all the points, and whatever setup has the highest total will be crowned the top credit card trifecta. And honestly, I was kind of surprised by not only what issuer ended up winning, but also just by how close the scoring actually was. Now, since obviously choosing a credit card setup can be a really personal thing based on what you value, your scores might be just a little bit different than mine here in these categories. So if you want to, then go ahead and follow along, watch how I score these categories, and then comment your scores for yourself down below. And what I'll do is I'll create some sort of a running tally as a pinned comment in the comment section to basically find out the popular vote and who you guys think should win. So as always, make sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you haven't done so already, but let's just get right into it here with category number 1, which is going to be welcome bonuses. So we're going to look at the standard sign-up bonuses beginning with Chase, where you'll be able to get 60,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points after spending $4,000 on either the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and that all depends on what card you like more out of those two in the Chase Trifecta. Then you can also get $200 cash back, or really 20,000 Chase points after spending $500 for both the Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited to round out the Chase Trifecta. So that's a combined 100,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points from just the standard sign-up bonuses alone in the setup when you get 3 of these cards. We've also seen limited time offers around once or maybe sometimes twice per year for around 80,000 points on the Sapphire Preferred. And then sometimes we get special deals on the Freedom cards where you can go ahead and earn 5x back on groceries or gas for your first year on those cards on top of a 20,000 point bonus. So overall, both the standard and the limited time offers here on the Chase Trifecta cards, they can really provide you with a lot of upfront value. Chase also has a 24-month rule on the Freedom cards and a 48-month rule on the Sapphire cards, where you can basically get more than one sign-up bonus as long as you follow the rules listed on Chase's website. So for example, I got the Sapphire Preferred card in November of 2019. So now if I downgrade that card to a no annual fee Freedom card and then reapply for it again in December 23, I would be eligible to get another sign-up bonus here, which is pretty cool because it sort of leads to an interesting long-term strategy with Chase. Now, for the Amex Trifecta, the base offers right now for the Amex Platinum card as I'm filming this video can be anywhere from 80,000 up to 100,000 membership rewards points after spending $8,000. The Amex Gold card has a standard offer of anywhere from 60 to 75,000 points after spending $4,000. And then the Amex Blue Business Plus card, which rounds out the Amex Trifecta setup, currently has no standard sign bonus at the moment, but in the past that's been somewhere right around 15,000 Amex points. So in total, that's between 140,000 and 190,000 points from the sign-up bonuses in this setup. There's also been some limited time deals where some people have been able to find offers that spike up to 150,000 points on the Platinum card and up to 90,000 points on the Gold card, even though those might be harder to find at the moment or not even available right now. Plus, the American Express owned website Resy is famous for having some other exclusive deals like 10x points on restaurants for 6 months with the Platinum card, or 20% back on restaurants for 12 months with the Gold card on top of the regular bonus. So again, in terms of standard offers and limited time offers for the Amex Trifecta, there's also some really valuable stuff here. However, one thing to note is that Amex does have a once per lifetime rule on most of their cards where you're only able to get 1 sign-up bonus per card in your lifetime. So you can't downgrade to a no annual fee card and then just reapply for another bonus like you can with Chase. And some people have reported that after a long enough time on certain cards, they've been able to get around this rule and get another bonus. But in general, I would not expect that too much into the future, just because it kind of seems like Amex is getting picky about who can qualify for their sign-up bonuses. Also, right after I filmed this video, Amex changed its terms for who is eligible to get a welcome offer on the Gold card. So now if you got the Platinum card first, you are no longer able to get a bonus on the Gold card, which means you got to make sure you get the Gold card first for that bonus, and then after that you can go for the bonus on the Platinum card if you want to optimize for the most value. So that's a small new change, but definitely a negative development here. Now, Capital One is more known for their Duo setup instead of a true 3-card trifecta, but for the Venture X card in the Capital One Duo, the standard sign-up bonus bonus has been for 75,000 miles after spending $4,000. And then for the Saver One card in this duo, that card comes with a $200 cashback bonus after spending $500. But when you have these two Capital One cards together right now, you can basically convert this cash back into more valuable miles on the Venture X. So that becomes 20,000 miles for a total of 95,000 miles on sign-up bonuses across these two cards combined. Now, the Venture X did have a slightly different limited time offer when the card first launched back in 2021. And then there's also been a limited time 90K offer that popped up as I was making this video that you can do a quick Google search for if you want to, but it might no longer be available by now. And then the Saver One card has mostly seen the same exact sign-up bonus that doesn't really change too much. So even though the standard sign-up bonuses are pretty good deals here with Capital One, there seems to be not as much hype for the special offers that Chase and Amex are more known for. In terms of getting more than one bonus on Capital One cards, I think that could be tricky as well, just based on data points and my own personal experience. And that's around the fact that Capital One seems to be very strict on who exactly they approve for their credit cards. So to me, I feel like they don't like approving people who are later on in the credit card game like myself right now, but technically they do have language in their terms for the Venture X card that makes it seem like there's some sort of a 48-month rule, kind of like I talked about before with Chase. So again, my prediction is that getting multiple bonuses here with cards in the Capital One duo is going to be more difficult than it is with another issuer like Chase right now, but your mileage may vary. Then for the Citi Trifecta, there's the Citi Premier card, which has a standard sign-up bonus of 60,000 Citi Thank You points after spending $4,000. There's the Citi Custom Cash card, which has a standard offer of $200 cash back, or really 20,000 points after spending $500. And then there's the Citi Double Cash card, which typically does not come with the standard sign-up bonus. Now, we have seen some limited time offers over the years here. So those include a special deal where we did see the Double Cash card get a $200 or really 20,000 point bonus after spending $1,500. And then we've also seen the Citi Premier card spike with an 80,000 point offer. So the standard sign-up bonuses on these cards are around 80,000 points combined, but we have seen that spike to be as high as 120,000 points combined. So for this welcome bonus category, I'm actually going to give the edge to Chase and give them 4 points here. And then I'm going to give Amex 3 points, Capital One 2 points, and Citi 1 point. But the main reasons I'm giving this category to Chase over Amex is because even though the Amex Trifecta can earn more points with their standard and limited time offers than Chase can, you still have to spend way more money with the minimum spend requirements through the Amex Trifecta than you do with Chase. Also, the combined annual fee that's as low as $95 with the Chase Trifecta is so much better than $945 with the Amex Trifecta. There's also not as many credits to worry about with Chase compared to Amex to justify paying those high fees. But again, those are just my thoughts here, and I could see some people out there giving the win in this welcome bonus category to either Chase or Amex. However, next for the spending multiplier category, this is where things basically just flip, because I actually think that right now, when comparing the spending multipliers across all these setups, Chase might be the worst because it's got a lot of room to be improved. So first of all, you get 3x back on dining on all cards in the Chase Trifecta, and I've always just kind of hated that overlapping thing that all the Chase cards have. You also get 5x back on travel booked through Chase with the Sapphire Preferred and both Freedom cards, as well as 3x back at drugstores on both Freedom cards. So again, that's even more overlapping here that I'm just not a big fan of, and I would rather just see each card in the setup have its own different categories. I do like the rotating quarterly 5x multiplier on the Chase Freedom Flex because I think people can earn lots of points here in big areas of spending, as those 5x categories change every 3 months. They change to things like groceries, dining, Amazon purchases, and more. But then the Freedom Unlimited card only gets 1.5x back on the miscellaneous spending category, whereas other trifectas here get 2x back at a minimum. So I would really love to see Chase get in line here with the competition and bump the Freedom Unlimited up to earning 2x back. There's also no true consistent grocery category within the Chase Trifecta other than 3x back for online groceries only with the Sapphire Preferred. So overall, I think Chase definitely has to change something within their spending multipliers to get themselves more in line and closer to the competition here in this video. The Amex Trifecta is definitely better with its spending multipliers by getting 4x back on groceries from US supermarkets, in addition to getting 4x back at restaurants worldwide on the Amex Gold card, which makes this probably the best individual food credit card on the market right now. And then you're getting 5x back on flights and hotels, which is pretty good on the Amex Platinum card. Plus, you get a flat 2x back on everything else with the Blue Business Plus. However, that 5x back on hotels specifically on the Platinum card is only going to work if you book those hotels through Amex Travel, and the Blue Business Plus card is technically a business credit card, and I don't really like to put my personal expenses on my business cards. That's just because I want to keep things separate for better organization and for tax purposes. So I kind of wish that American Express would just have a personal version of this business credit card here as a catch-all card that earns 2x on everything. And I also wish that the overall Amex Trifecta kind of just earned points in more categories categories like the Capital One Duo does next here. So the Capital One Duo gets 2x back on everything with the Venture X as a catch-all card, plus the Venture X also gets 10x back on hotels and car rentals booked through Capital One and 5x back on flights booked through Capital One. And again, like I just said here with the Amex Platinum, having to book through a travel portal just to get better multipliers is worth mentioning here. That's because you have to make sure the prices in these travel portals are always competitive with other options you have out there, which is not always the case. But Capital One Travel does seem to be pretty good at their pricing compared to other portals from other issuers, and it's got some built-in price protection features as well that should help you to get good deals, so I'm mostly okay with it here on the Venture X. For the Saver One card in this Capital One Duo setup, this might be my favorite no annual fee card on the market right now with just how many ways it can earn miles when it's paired with the Venture X. That's because it gets 3% back, really 3x miles per dollar on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and at grocery stores. Plus, until November 14th, 2024, you get 10% back or 10x miles per dollar on Uber and Uber Eats, so lots of potential to earn a ton of miles in many categories with this card. Then the Citi Trifecta is gonna get 2% back or really 2x points on everything with the Citi Double Cash. It gets 5% back or 5x points per dollar on your top spending category with the Citi Custom Cash. That's where effectively you can choose exactly how you wanna earn 5x back every month if you only use that card in one of 10 eligible categories. And then the Citi Premier card is maybe the best single points earning card within all the trifectas here in this video. That's because it gets 3x points on restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, air travel, and hotels. So for me, the Citi Trifecta has almost no limiting factors and really isn't missing much from its overall spending multipliers, which is why I'm gonna give it the top score of 4 points in this category. And then, like I said, the Capital One Duo is also really strong for its spending multipliers, so it's gonna come in at number 3. The Amex Trifecta gets 2 points here because it could be better with more categories and a personal catch-all card like the other trifectas, but Chase is gonna come in with the bottom score of 1 point because of all those overlapping points categories, the lack of higher multipliers on high spend categories like groceries, and because the Freedom Unlimited card could be better if it was 2x back instead of 1.5x back. Now, those first two categories here in this trifecta battle were all about earning points, but this next category is possibly more important, and that's because those points are basically all worthless unless you redeem them the right way. So for the redemption options category, this is where we're gonna look at all the ways you can redeem your hard-earned points for things like cash back, travel booked through a portal, and travel booked by transferring your points out to partner programs. So starting with Chase, you can redeem for cash back at a rate of 1 cent per point, which is just the simple base value here. So if you had 100,000 Chase points and you just need the cash back for something, or you're not traveling as much anymore, you know you're getting $1,000 very easily from those 100,000 points. You also get a 25% points boost when booking travel through Chase's portal with the Sapphire Preferred, or a 50% points boost if you have the Reserve. So you can earn points on any card in the Chase Trifecta, pull those points together under a common Sapphire card, and then just redeem them at 1.25 cents per point on the Preferred, where 100,000 points is worth $1,250, or you can redeem at 1.5 cents per point with the Reserve card, where those same 100,000 points are worth $1,500. For transferring points, since all of these Trifecta and Duo setups transfer out to partner programs, we're gonna assume you can get at least 2 to 3 cents per point, or hopefully more in some situations, for at least $2,000 to $3,000 of value for 100,000 points. So for Chase, the transfer partners here that come with these Sapphire cards are going to be very good, with 14 partner programs in total, consisting of 11 airlines and 3 hotels, including Hyatt, which in my opinion is a huge advantage in the points and miles game. And that's because Hyatt is easily the best hotel program in terms of consistent value that you can get from your Chase points when you transfer out to them. And I've got plenty of examples on how to transfer points to Hyatt and other programs. So again, make sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you have not done so already. Chase also runs some decent transfer bonuses from time to time, like recently, where you could get a 30% bonus with Aer Lingus, British Airways, and Iberia, plus a 50% bonus when you transfer to Marriott for a limited time. So basically with British Airways as an example, instead of transferring over 100,000 Chase points to get 100,000 British Airways Avios, that 30% transfer bonus here would turn 100,000 Chase points into 130,000 Avios. For Amex, their option to redeem points for cash back here comes in the form of a statement credit to basically offset purchases on your statement balance. And unfortunately here, you only get a standard 0.6 cents per point, so 100,000 Amex points is only worth $600. But if you get a different version of the Platinum card in the Amex Trifecta, like the Schwab Platinum, then you can get 1.1 cents per point for cashing out your Amex points. So that makes the same 100,000 points worth $1,100 for cash back here. Now, the Amex Travel Portal is going to get you a slightly higher value, but mostly for flights only, where you get 1 cent per point for flights, where 100,000 points is going to be worth $1,000. Or you can book hotels through Amex Travel as well and get only 0.7 cents per point on average for $700 of value for those same points. And there are some exceptions to this that I talked about in my full Amex point redemption guide that I'll link to down below. But in general, it's going to be better to focus on transfer partners anyway when it comes to redeeming Amex points. And that's where American Express does really shine here, because they have 21 transfer partners in total with 18 airlines and 3 hotel chains. American Express also really seems to consistently have some of the best transfer bonuses that vary month to month. So for example, recently they had a 25% bonus over at Air France KLM, but in the previous month, there was a big transfer bonus to British Airways, Avianca, Iberia, and Hilton, to name a few. Then for Capital One, they're pretty bad in terms of cashing out your miles as well, because you only get 0.5 cents per mile, where 100,000 miles is only going to be worth $500. So we definitely want to avoid cashing out Capital One miles in this setup. You could also get 1 cent per mile when redeeming your Capital One miles to cover the cost of recent travel purchases, or when you book new travel through Capital One's portal. So again, 100,000 miles is going to be worth $1,000 at that 1 cent per mile value. Or the other better way to redeem, of course, is by transferring your miles out to one of 18 transfer partners that includes 15 airlines and 3 hotel chains. Plus, occasionally there might be some limited time transfer bonuses for Capital One, like a recent 20% bonus to Air France KLM, even though it does seem like these deals don't happen quite as often as Chase and Amex. But transfer bonuses are still a very good thing to take advantage of with Capital One miles when they pop up from time to time. For Citi, you can cash out points at 1 cent per point, where again, 100,000 points is worth $1,000. Or you can get that same 1 cent per point value for booking something like a flight in their travel portal. But then of course, transfer partners again here are the best option to get upwards of 2 to 3 cents per point or more. And Citi's transfer partners are pretty good as well, with 17 total partners consisting of 14 airlines and 3 hotels. And Citi is also going to run some transfer bonuses from time to time, like a recent 25% transfer bonus earlier this summer over to Air France KLM. Now, since transfer partners can get confusing, I decided to go ahead and put together a free guide to help you guys out to see what points currencies transfer to each hotel and airline program. So if you want to, then you can go ahead and download that completely for free at the link down below in the description. But overall, for this redemption options category here, I'm going to give the win to Chase with 4 points because of their points boost feature that basically just locks you in at 1.25 or 1.5 cents per point as a floor value for travel booked through Chase, and then 1 cent per point as a floor value for cash back. More importantly though, Chase has some great transfer partners that includes Hyatt, which is really easy to transfer to, and obviously transferring points can be way better than just cashing them out or using a travel portal if you know what you're doing. But for beginners that are still kind of just learning how things work, it is nice to have those beginner-friendly options with redeeming Chase points and still giving you better than average value than other trifectas here in this video. Amex is going to get 3 points here because they do have the most overall transfer partners, but the reason they don't come out as the best here, in my opinion, is just because of the fact that they have low value for cash back and then low value for booking travel in their portal compared to Chase as well. Plus, for me, again, I have to give credit to Chase for having Hyatt as a transfer partner, but once again, that might be more of a personal opinion. So you can go ahead and give me your own thoughts and your own scores in the comment section down below, because I do want to hear whatever you got to say in this community. Capital One is going to come in here with 2 points just because I think they do have some really good features with their travel portal and some excellent transfer partners as well. And then Citi is going to come in with 1 point just because there's nothing really special that stands out for them here. But again, still really good transfer partners for good value with those points as well. Next, we have the ease of use category, which is going to be exactly what it sounds like. So I'm going to compare how easy these setups are to use in terms of both earning and then redeeming points. So to me, Chase is going to win in this category again with 4 points because of the fact you just know you're going to use the Freedom Unlimited card as a catch-all card. You can use the Freedom Flex card in whatever category is earning 5x that quarter. And then you just use the Sapphire Preferred or Sapphire Reserve card for any travel expenses plus dining, even though all Chase cards technically earned 3x on dining anyway. You also get the easiest redemption options that still give you very good floor value no matter what, with those 25 and 50% points boost features that anyone can understand. And with transferring points, I really do think that transferring over to Hyatt is also really simple and an easy way to get good consistent value. So in my opinion, that's the best transfer partner for ease of use. Capital One is going to get 3 points here because their travel portal has a great user interface and is also really good for pricing and giving you 1 cent per mile for any travel booked through Capital One if you can't figure out the transfer partner thing. Plus, you have great great spending multipliers that are pretty easy to remember, where you just use the Venture X card as a catch-all card and for any travel booked through Capital One, and then you just use the Saver One card for any dining, groceries, streaming, and entertainment expenses. Amex is gonna come in here with 2 points for ease of use, just because even though they might be valuable in terms of having the most overall transfer partners once you learn how to use them, that's basically the only way that I would recommend redeeming Amex points, and that's because once you start using their travel portal, that can sort of devalue the points you have a lot of the time for hotel stays and even flights sometimes. Their spending multipliers are pretty easy to use for food spending with the gold card and then travel spending with the platinum card, but not everyone will want to get the Blue Business Plus as a business card. And then also there's still a ton of credits that you got to use and keep track of if you want to justify paying the higher annual fees within the Amex Trifecta. The Citi Trifecta is going to come in at 1 point for the ease of use category, just because again, it really doesn't have that much that stands out to me, other than the fact that it has really great multipliers on the Premier card, and then the fact that the double cash is a good 2x catch-all card. But then their travel portal here seems a little bit clunky to me compared to other portals from other issuers. Plus, there's not really that many other extra benefits from using that portal, so you got to figure out the transfer partners to get good value from those points. Now, one last category here where these setups can really start to show their value is going to be from their annual fees versus benefits. For this, I'm going to give Amex 4 points as the top trifecta, because technically it does have the most features that really work well for me in my personal experience, but this is a very personal thing and not everyone is going to like the benefits within the Amex Trifecta, considering the fact you have to pay $945 per year for them. So you've got over $1,500 in value on the platinum card and $240 in value on the gold card that easily outweighs the annual fees in my own life, and I've covered all this info in more detail in other videos that I'll link to down below. But with the platinum card specifically, this is really what gives you the best value and the most benefits in the setup, like global entry or TSA pre-check credit, Hertz President Circle status, and some hotel status. And of course, you get priority pass and access to a ton of airport lounges, including the famous Amex Centurion lounges. These lounges can get a bit crowded depending on the time of the day and stuff like that, but overall, they really do enhance your travel experience, and they're a feature that I personally value a lot right now. Plus, there's just more Amex lounges across the world than Capital One or Chase lounges, which is a big reason that kind of pushed the Amex Trifecta to the top of this category for me. But again, not everyone is gonna wanna pay that big combined price tag for these three cards. However, if you want something that is much more affordable but still comes with a ton of value, then next, the Capital One Duo here is going to get 3 points in this category because of all the features that are packed into the Venture X. So you get Hertz President Circle status, primary auto rental coverage, a global entry or TSA pre-check credit, a $300 annual travel credit, and then a 10,000 mile annual anniversary bonus. And then of course, you also get airport lounge access to a growing number of airport lounges from Capital One, Plaza Premium, and Priority Pass. For me, I really like that there's no annual fee on the Saver One card and only a $395 annual fee on the Venture X, plus that annual fee is easily offset by the $300 travel credit and the 10,000 mile anniversary bonus. So for most people here, the Capital One Duo might be the best in this category in terms of the many great benefits you get for a lower combined annual fee. Chase is gonna come in here with 2 points here in this category, and it really all depends on which one of those 2 Sapphire cards you have, which will decide whether this should be a little bit higher in this category for you. So personally, I have the Sapphire Preferred card, which comes with a $95 annual fee and a $50 hotel credit. Then you also get primary auto rental coverage and some other good protections as well, plus a few partner benefits that I don't really use that much. But then the Chase Sapphire Reserve card comes in with a $550 annual fee and a $300 travel credit, a global entry or TSA pre-check credit, primary auto rental coverage, and a bunch of other travel protections and stuff like that. The Sapphire Reserve also gives you access to Priority Pass, as well as access to the new Chase Sapphire lounges that are slowly starting to roll out, where you do need this card in order to get into those lounges an unlimited number of times. And I just had the chance to visit the new Chase Sapphire lounge in Boston last month, and I gotta say, it really impressed me a lot more than many of the Amex lounges I've been to lately. And luckily, there's another Chase Sapphire lounge coming to my home city of Philadelphia pretty soon here, which actually might cause me to upgrade my preferred to the Reserve. The Citi Trifecta, again, is gonna come in last tier just because it's pretty underwhelming for me, but not really because of anything truly bad. So you've got only one annual fee of $95 on the Citi Premier card, which doesn't really come with too many benefits, but there is one small negative of no travel protections on this card and many other Citi credit cards as well, so that's kind of bad for people that are out there looking for a good travel credit card setup. So my final score ended up being the Chase Trifecta on top with 15 points, the Amex Trifecta with 14, Capital One One with 12, and then Citi with 9 points. So like I said, this was a pretty close battle, but Chase barely came out on top for me, and then American Express was a very close second. And that actually makes a ton of sense for me, considering that the majority of my setup right now is a lot of Chase cards and Amex cards. But I think it's really important to mention here that you do not need to have only one single trifecta from only one single issuer, because each one is going to have its own pros and cons. So I think the best thing you can actually do here is to have a mix of different cards. And if you want to see what I think is the very best setup of the only 5 credit cards you need, then make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here next. But as always, thank you so much for watching.